Welcome back, and we hope your weekend is off to a relaxing start. I'm Thalia Shuras.
And I'm Russ Mitchell. Here's what's coming up in our final half hour this morning. He is on the political sidelines for the first time in his long career. Bill Clinton is the world's most prominent non-candidate, but he still has a job to do as first fundraiser. Coming up, Mr. Mark Nola reports from the White House.
Also, the history of marriage. When was America's golden age of marriage, do you know? And how long does the average marriage last today? We're going to have the answers for you.
Some of these answers are very surprising.
They really are.
I was stunned. Plus, our chef in a shoestring has a romantic and delicious Valentine's Day dinner for two.
Hi, I'm Chef Eric Blauberg, and I'm going to show you how to spice up your love life in the kitchen coming up.
What's up with the eyebrows?
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Whoa. Okay, politics and money make Washington go around, and no one knows that better than Bill Clinton. Well, our Mr. Mark Nola, as Russ just said, knows it too, and Sir joins us from the White House. Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Thalia. As the president would let you know again and again and again, he is not a candidate. His name does not appear on any ballot this year, but he is definitely engaged in a campaign. He's the uncandidate, running on behalf of his policies, his political party, and his legacy.
Not that there's any doubt about it, but the president loves to remind people he is not a candidate.
Now, I'm not running for anything. I am not on the ballot.
It is now his standard political refrain.
You know, I'm not part of this election, and I shouldn't be.
And though he's relegated to the political sidelines, he'll have us believe he's not depressed about it.
And people are always coming to me saying, oh, this must be a real downer for you, you know, the vice president and Hillary, they're out there 7 o'clock in the morning hitting all these coffee shops. You must be... How are you dealing with this terrible deprivation?
If nothing else, it gives him more quality time with Buddy. Since the First Lady's campaigning in New York, Chelsea's at Stanford, and Socks the cat won't run after a ball and bring it back. But it was his pet projects that he was promoting this week as he formally sent Congress his last federal budget.
It maintains our fiscal discipline, pays down the debt, extends the life of Social Security and Medicare, and invest in our families and our future.
Not unexpectedly, key Republicans were less than impressed.
We think it is a fantasy budget. It will not be enacted.
I think it's an election document, a potential help some friends of Bill Clinton get elected to public office this next time.
The president and his policies get a far more friendly reception at Democratic fundraisers, an increasingly frequent pastime for the president of late. In fact, just this week, he went to 5 of them. So far this year, he's been to 14 fundraisers at which he helped pull in over $5 million. At this pace, he's ahead of his previous records as fundraiser-in-chief. A CBS News tally shows that last year, Mr. Clinton went to 91 events, raising nearly $62 million. And in 1998, he was the big draw at 111 fundraisers, generating close to $60 million.
I believe that the Democratic Party is the right party to lead this country. Even though it's flattering to see the Republicans sort of edging more and more toward our economic policy.
And though he's not a candidate, he still looks and acts like one, stopping his limo during a day of fundraising in George W. Bush's home state of Texas and pressing the flesh with an enthusiastic crowd.
The president sounds like he's trying to talk himself into believing that there is political life as a lame duck. He wants to show that even if he can't run for office, he can still waddle on behalf of his political goals.
He also did something else at the White House. Apparently, he renamed a room you spent a lot of time in. Tell us about that.
It was an unprecedented ceremony yesterday as a Democratic president named the White House press briefing room on behalf of a press secretary to a Republican president, James Brady. It was nearly 19 years ago that James Brady was shot and severely injured and left permanently disabled in the assassination attempt on then-President Ronald Reagan. Yesterday, to honor Brady for his courage and for his perseverance, President Clinton named the press briefing room for Brady. It was the idea of spokesman Joe Lockhart, who said that Brady was a role model and something of a hero, and the president took this action after having his White House counsel's office check that it was in fact permissible for him to name a room after somebody. So along with the Lincoln bedroom in the White House and along with the Roosevelt room, there is now the James Brady White House press briefing room.
Wow, that's amazing. Certainly well deserved. Mark Nola, thanks so much.
And now at about 25 minutes until the hour, let's go outside to the corner of 5th Avenue and 59th Street in Manhattan. Ira Joe Fisher's out there with a look at the weather.
Well, a good morning to you, Russ and Thalia. We're standing on the corner of 5th Avenue and 59th Street outside our studio 59A, and it is suddenly chilly, suddenly windy, suddenly winter out here, for heaven's sakes. How about the rest of the country? Let's go to the map, shall we, and talk about what we can anticipate for today. We're going to travel from New York City right now, where our sky is, for the most part, partly cloudy, down to mostly sunny. Miami, and temperatures are warm. Chicago, chilly, and it'll be partly cloudy. A few more clouds in Denver, and you could have some mixed precipitation as highs climb into the 40s, and heavy rain anticipated over Southern California. San Diego, you'll have showers this morning, snow in the Rockies, and it's chilly in the northeastern part of the country. That's the national weather. Now here's a closer look at the weather for your weekend.
Good morning. Here's the Metro Detroit weather forecast. Now the extended forecast. From all of us at Detroit 62, thanks for watching and have a great day.
Okay, still to come, the history of marriage. There is one plus, folks. Dim the lights.
Dim all the lights. Our chef in a shoestring is cooking up a romantic dinner for two, cooking up some love over there, aren't you, Eric?
Fabulous.
It's just in time for Valentine's Day, so you stay with us.
Well, you know, politicians and clergymen constantly lament the demise of marriage, pointing to single-parent families and high divorce rates as symptoms of society's decline. But you know, Russ, a look back reveals that marriage in America has always had its ups and downs. Surprise, right? Even the founding fathers and mothers weren't always married. Look at the history books. Around the time of the American Revolution, in Concord, Massachusetts, 1/3 of all children were born out of wedlock. And about 1/3 of brides in rural New England were pregnant at their weddings. Single-parent families were equally common in colonial times, but it was largely because of the high mortality rate. Divorce was almost unknown. In the 1800s, people began marrying later in life, and by 1870, the average groom was 25, compared with 26 today. After the Civil War, the divorce rate began to climb steadily. By 1889, the U.S. had the highest divorce rate in the world. And by 1924, 1 out of 7 American marriages ended in divorce. That trend continued until the 1940s, when forces like the Depression and war encouraged couples to stay together, setting the stage for the 1950s, the golden age of marriage in America. Marriages begun in the 50s lasted an average of 31 years, longer than at any time in American or European history. By contrast, the typical marriage in 1900 lasted an average 11 years, and today that number is just 7 years.
In the 1950s, we had sort of an exception to the pattern that occurred before the 1950s and really that occurred after the middle 1960s and on. So it was an exception to the pattern that we saw earlier in this century and the pattern that we in some ways seem to be returning to.
Today's rising life expectancy rates make "until death do us part" a much bigger promise than it was a century ago. In 1900, life expectancy was 42 years, and by 1950, it was 66. Now, the average American can expect to reach 75, yet 50-year marriages are still rarities.
No other generation in history has had marriages that lasted for decade after decade. And there's a difference, of course, between simply surviving, that is, the marriage remains intact, and having some kind of a useful, productive, satisfying union that takes a whole new set of skills and a different set of expectations than what our grandparents had and that we inherited from them.
Okay, a couple more points finally. There's good news and bad news for the proponents of marriage. The good news is divorce rates have been steadily going down for the last 20 years. And the bad news is that fewer people are getting married at all.
Interesting news there. The average marriage in the 90s, you say, is 7 years?
7 years, right.
Yet we're living to 75 years old.
I figure it's a 7-year itch. You know, I mean, you've always heard about the 7-year itch. I guess you just can't get past that itch.
I guess not.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you know,
well,
whatever.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Whatever you think about marriage, Chef Eric Blauberg will tell you that romance begins in the kitchen.
He's got it right.
Chef Blauberg runs the 21 Club here in Manhattan. And get this, romance did bloom in his kitchen earlier this year. Chef Blauberg married his sous chef.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow. So, I didn't know that. So who better to show us how to make a romantic dinner? As usual, we kept Chef Eric on a shoestring budget, but for this meal, we changed the rules a little bit. I think this is only fair for Valentine's Day. $20 for the main ingredients, that is for a romantic dinner for 2, not 4, just 2. So let's see what he bought.
I have my $20. Let's do some shopping for our Valentine's Day menu. When you're shopping for green asparagus, you want to make sure that they have a bright green color, that they're firm, and also that the ends aren't dried and cracked out. When I buy tomatoes, I like to buy vine-ripened tomatoes on the stem. That tells me how fresh the tomatoes are. These look great and they just smell wonderful. Jalapeno peppers, you want to make sure that they're firm and that the stem looks healthy. These will spice up our dinner. White chocolate. Good white chocolate comes from either Belgium or France. The difference between the pink shrimp and the white shrimp, the pink shrimp are from Maine and the white shrimp are from the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to pick the shrimp from the Gulf of Mexico since they're a lot larger. Well, we've done our shopping and here we have some fabulous ingredients. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you how much it cost us and how to put together that fabulous Valentine's Day menu. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Smells so good. We are very pleased to welcome Chef Eric Blauberg back to our studio. Hey, Eric.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming back. Good seeing you.
Boy, Eric, it's really nice to have you, and we in the mood. So what's on the menu?
Well, today we have pork glazed asparagus with tahini lime dressing, and our entrees pan-roasted shrimp with a spicy bean salad, balsamic vinegar, and then for our dessert we're going to do a white chocolate martini with a chocolate phyllo and blackberry sauce.
Let's get going.
Okay, yeah.
I'd have to say our main ingredient today is to have fun. Okay, that's what Valentine's Day is all about, right?
We can have fun. Let's do that.
Have fun with your partner. So here I have a hot saute pan on. We're going to add a little bit of oil to that pan. You want to make sure that it's pretty hot. It starts to smoke just like that because it's important to brown off the asparagus. I have some asparagus that I basically just peeled off. We're going to toss those around. I'm going to season up with a little bit of onion here.
Kind of shaved them, didn't you, the asparagus?
Kind of shave them, yeah. You can actually use a peeler to shave them off. And they cook pretty fast that way. And I have some tahini dressing here.
Now, what is that?
It's tahini paste is basically ground sesame seeds, and it's usually soaked in water, and then they puree the seeds, and that's what we have here. I've added some water to it, 50% water to it, and then a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of salt and pepper.
That's something you can just buy at the store?
You can buy in the store, sure. Yeah, it comes in cans usually or in a tube. So our asparagus are actually ready. See how quick that was?
That's really fast.
Yeah. So we're going to place those right on.
Things get really hot in your kitchen, don't they?
Look at the
Married
plates.
your
Isn't that
sous chef. Yeah, the plates are beautiful.
And
Really are.
set it up like so. Very simple dessert or appetizer. I have a little bit of port here, and it's a reduction of port wine. I placed in a saucepan, just kind of boiled it down, and there we have it.
How'd you do that? How'd you reduce that?
Just put it in a saucepan, put it on a low heat, and just reduce it down until it starts to get a little bit syrupy. You want to be careful not to burn it.
All right.
Next, we're on to our entree, and we're going to start off with a saute pan. Once again, I have a little bit of oil. We're going to add some oil to that pan. Add some butter. And when you're cooking shrimp, you don't want to cook it at too high of a temperature. No? Because what happens is the shrimp gets tough. It tightens up and gets pretty tough. So we're going to cook this one at a lower temperature here.
Now, does this dish have aphrodisiac qualities to it?
Well, the theory out there is that food that looks sexy is supposed to improve your love life.
I buy that.
How much truth is behind that? I don't really know. But I can tell you that this food here is loaded with vitamins and minerals, and therefore that'll certainly give you a lot of energy.
And the butter does it, and it helps really well too, don't you think?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
We're going to season a little bit of salt, a little pepper.
Nice sized shrimp too.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Wow.
I'm going to stir those around just a little bit. You don't want to cook them.
Red pretty fast.
Yeah, they do.
Very quickly.
Yes.
About how long do you figure?
You figure about 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Medium rare temperature is good for shrimp. Now here I have a saucepan, and I have a little bit of bacon fat here.
Butter and bacon fat.
Butter and bacon fat, I tell you.
Why not? There's a lot of flavor in bacon fat. It'll really season up those beans really well. Next, I have some onions. I'm going to add a little bit of onions to the pan.
So you and your partner should both be eating these dishes.
You know what's great about it? You can cook with your partner, you know, or you can surprise your partner, which is always romantic.
Garlic and onions are always a surprise. Yep.
I have some black beans. Now, these are already cooked. We're going to add our black beans right to our onions. And next, we're going to spice it up. I have some jalapeno peppers here.
You have a bunch of jalapeno peppers there.
Oh, these are great.
Yeah, love those.
These are really good things.
You want to put some more in there, I think, don't you?
You want a little bit more?
Yeah, sure.
Why not? There you go.
That's cool.
You like it spicy,
yes.
right? All right, I have some tomato concassé, which is just chopped tomato with the skin and the seeds removed. And we're going to stir that in, like so.
Ooh, it's starting to smell really good. I see why you say that about the bacon fat.
Yeah, you can smell that bacon just
wonderful.
cooking into the beans.
Yep.
Yeah. A little bit of pepper, a little bit more salt. And if you want to really impress your girlfriend, this is a milk carton. This is for the guys.
That'll do it. Okay.
Now, what I've done is, what this does is it's going to be a lot easier for you to plate up your food.
Oh, I see.
And what you want to do, it'll hold the beans from moving around on the plate.
You shouldn't get this carton out of the trash can. You should.
No, not before you throw it in. Just rinse it out, flatten it out, cut both ends off, and cut a strip out of it.
Well, a lot of guys would have asked that question.
Well, there you go.
Now we have our shrimp. I'm going to place our shrimp right on top, like so.
I think, you know, that would really impress women if you did that, like perfectly shaped like that.
That is really something.
Right? It makes it
That
so
is
neat.
gorgeous.
And you take that off?
Yeah, just pull it off. It just pulls it all together. So you got beans all over your kitchen.
Wow.
There we have it.
Excellent.
I have a little bit of balsamic reduction, and it's basically balsamic vinegar that you get over the counter, put it in a saucepan, very similar to what we did with the port wine reduction, and just reduce it down real slow at a low temperature, and it thickens up. It turns real syrupy, and that's what we have there.
Beautiful dish.
Wow.
Sounds terrific.
You know, this wasn't in our budget at the time, but I brought it along with me.
Why don't you try that one? I'll try the asparagus, and you're going to head off to the dessert. You wanna...
Yeah, we're going to talk about dessert now.
Yeah.
You just hold your horses, young lady. Yes.
All right.
You just wait. We're going to
Okay.
talk about dessert now. I'll move this out of your way.
We're going to, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our mousse, our white chocolate mousse. And here I have white chocolate that I've melted down. Now, white chocolate isn't a true chocolate.
Right.
Okay? It's basically cocoa butter, milk solids, a little bit of vanilla, and that's basically it.
Okay.
More butter.
Exactly.
Cocoa butter, okay.
Got a minute 15 left.
Okay, so here I have a little creme glaze. Now the creme glaze is just simply a little bit of cream, some egg yolks, and tempered in and brought to just before a boil, and that's what I have here.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to stir that right into the white chocolate. Here I have some soft peak whipped cream. We're going to add our whipped cream right into our bowl like so. Basically fold it all together.
You're killing us. This is wonderful.
No calories.
Beautiful.
Taking all the
None at
calories out of this before we started the segment.
Calorie extractor.
We're going to cover this up. We're going to place this in our refrigerator.
For about how long?
So, I like to place it in overnight.
Okay.
And while that's chilling down, what we're going to do is we're going to do that chocolate phyllo.
I've been wondering what you're going to do with the phyllo.
And I've gotten ahead of everybody here, so let me explain what I have here. It's phyllo pastry, and I brushed it with, I have a mixture of butter here and cocoa powder.
Okay.
And what I've done, and I'll demonstrate another layer here
We've got
for
like
us.
45 seconds left.
Okay.
You can buy phyllo dough anywhere, right?
You can buy it
Pretty
anywhere.
much?
And basically, you want to put this on top like so, and you want to brush this down. Okay?
You brush it down, you get what
5
you
layers
have.
is what you're looking for.
Okay.
And then sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top, like so. Place it in the oven, and bake it for 15 minutes, 350 degrees.
Okay.
And here we have it.
There we have it.
And there you have it. And you put it all in the martini glass,
In the
right?
martini glass.
And you layer it pretty much?
Exactly. Here.
Okay.
Here's
Okay,
our
you
mousse.
layer it, and I'm
I'll
going to
do
take a
that.
look at the ingredients that Chef Eric Blauberg bought for this meal. For the appetizers, we had asparagus, red onion, tahini paste, and a lime. For the entree, shrimp, black beans, jalapeno pepper, and tomatoes. For the dessert, let me see, we had white chocolate, phyllo dough, and heavy cream and blackberries. And I know that everyone at home is asking, did he actually do all this for under $20? Yeah, look at that. The grand total, $19.95 by the skin of your teeth.
Very
Way
nice.
to go.
And what do
Very,
we put
very
here
nice.
with the mousse here? We put this is...
It's a blackberry sauce.
Blackberry sauce.
So you just kind of layer it out. White mousse, or blackberry sauce, chocolate phyllo.
Lovely job. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Chef. Good to see you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Hope you all have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's
And
Day.
some of you will now join your local stations. For everyone else, Saturday Early Show will be right back. I finally got to taste it. It is really...
You can find Chef on a Shoestring recipes at CBS.com and America Online, keyword Chef on a Shoestring. Or send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Chef on a Shoestring, Valentine's Day recipes, 6960 Eastgate Boulevard, Lebanon, Tennessee, 37090. This Chef on a Shoestring segment sponsored by the Post Cereal Company. Post, breakfast made bright.
This is so good.
Yeah, I love this kind of breakfast. Eric, this is just terrific.
I feel so romantic.
We stay over there.
Yeah.
When you say any food, they say any food that looks sexy, usually they say.
They say.
It's an aphrodisiac.
Improves
I'd buy it.
life.
Who are they? Who are these people? Anyway, thanks again for coming in.
Pleasure.
Very good
Pleasure.
one here.
Next week here on the Saturday Early Show, in this time of economic boom, how are some Americans spending their extra money? We're going to talk to the author of a book called Squandering Aimlessly.
And then some of us might go shopping later and squander because we're going to talk about a fashion trend, denim, in a show from Glamour magazine. So join us next week. And we leave you with more music from
Jaguares. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Ocultos en la carne se quedaron.
Punch 62 for In-Depth Detroit. I'm Rich Make. Sunday night, the medical use of marijuana. It's legal in a handful of states, and some say it helps fight the symptoms of diseases like cancer and multiple sclerosis. But a move to legalize it in Michigan has others fighting mad. Watch In-Depth Detroit, a 62 CBS weekly news magazine, Sunday night on Detroit 62 CBS. Big time TV.
El campo sigue minado y nadie dice nada por salvar a los ciegos. Una mujer llorando se descubre su secreto.
For a video cassette of the Saturday Early Show, call 1-800-242-7747. For a transcript, call 1-800-777-TEXT.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.